Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, bringing you part 10 in this Fallout New Vegas Dead Money DLC video walkthrough. And as you can tell, we're moving further through the villa, this time with good old Dino, to try and get him to his destination for this big Gala event. Let's have a look at this. So just keep following your waypoint, being careful of your corners, because enemies will spring out of all sorts of dead spots. And because the collars start beeping, that generally means that this area is going to have bits of collar interference and bullshit like that. But right now, it looks like we're pretty much safe. So just keep following the path. And just being ever so aware to loot when possible. Alright, let's have a look here. And yeah, this is the story of the start of this DLC. It's a lot of exploring. It's not that interesting after you get over the overall effect of where you are and what you're doing. But I suppose you take the good with the bad. And this is one of the ghost harvesters here, coming to try and shish kebab Dean, but there we go. Take him out like a piece of piss. And get a nice little boost of experience for doing it. I'm not too sure why he gave 130 experience as opposed to 65, but he must have been slightly tougher. And there you go, Dean's packing his pistol, so he will engage from long distance and tell you where enemies are before you actually see them, which is another advantage of having him with you. Good night. And yeah, these guys must be upgraded versions of the old ones because they're giving significantly more experience, which is always nice. And that's where we're headed. And as you can tell, Dean's saying a little bit more exposition to us, which means we're going in the right direction. That is one of the key points to know that you're on the right track, is when they start talking, because they're divulging bits of the plot that will explain little bits of their character before you get rid of them, basically. And it sounds... oh, there we go, just get hit by a spear. And he's unconscious, which means we need to sever his limbs or he's going to get back up. So there, bash his kneecap, rob his body, and then just keep ploughing through this DLC. Oh, and we level up. But as you can tell, I've edited out that shit because I didn't really know what I was going to choose, and it's just wasted air watching me select abilities that you might not even have. So just always be careful to pop your life back up if it goes a little low, and just keep following your waypoint. Oh. That looks like a ghost trapper having a go at me there. Oh no, it's just the harvesters. Donk. There you go, use the cover. Slap his face off. Nice and clean. And as always, they're always going to have the knives and the knife spears, which will enable you to repair this staff. And that's the reason why I've held it for so long through this DLC, because it's the most intelligent weapon to use because it's so plentiful. There's a vending machine if you need any resources. And just be sure to check all the cheeky cupboards and things to see if you can find anything good, like madre chips and bits of food. And there we go! There's my 500 Sierra Madre chips achievement. Which, for anybody that doesn't know, once you collect 500 of them you will get that 30G achievement. And it's not like there's a set amount, there is a hell of a lot more than 500, so don't worry about missing it, you'll definitely get it by the end of this piece of content. And there's Dean crouching as if there's more enemies, but there isn't. Oh no, I tell a lie, there's a red bar on my compass, which means there's one guy somewhere. But do I care? No, I'm gonna do some shopping. Because that's just how I roll. And if you do have the currency to spend, it is always best to try and stock up on as many stim packs as you can. It will help you for the duration of this content. And just make sure once again all your weapons are in top condition, so that you're not pissing about with them. And continue getting Dino to where he needs to be. By trudging through and traversing these dark, weary streets. And there we go, we get a nice little audio cue telling us that there's going to be a fight coming. And as you can see, there's a handful of harvesters all throwing shit at you, so just be ever so careful, cover the distance, and then take them out as quickly as you can. And with Dean and his pistol, it's not that hard to do. And there you can see there's more of the miasma that's going to block your path, but you have to go through it. Luckily enough, the character that's with you right now will enable you to get through this smog pretty quickly, because he has a passive ability that makes sure it doesn't hurt you as swiftly as it would without him. So, as soon as you're through there, you're nice and safe. It's not too big of a cloud, and then you can come into this room and start plundering and resupplying. And as you can see, I'm being a little bit tentative, because I'm assuming there's going to be traps, but I don't actually think there is, because if you just saw, Dean's already making his way quite swiftly up those stairs.
So,
and here we go, we've made it to where we need to be.
What's that there? Wiring? Looks
And once again, it's just a case of convincing them that they have to stay and you have to leave.
Section there. So, what? I stand here, hold the two ends in my hands and tap them together like cymbals?
Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, you're practically dead, what do you have to lose?
I strike up the speaker system. There's going to be ghosts all over this place.
And you've already showed that you're more than capable to shoot them with your handgun, and you never run out of ammo, so I don't know why you're complaining.
They are big on listening, hunting, killing.
But once again, he's got a flair for the amateur dramatics, so he just reels off a load of bullshit hyperbole to try and get you to make a different decision, but this shit's done, son, so we've got to make him stay so we can get into the Sierra Madre. So just keep going through these dialogue trees, and eventually you'll get to an option, either through blackmail or through various means you'll get him to be able to stay.
So I can slit my wrist.
So you can even tell a couple of lies if you want to. Bit of mock sarcasm there.
You're full of it. Leaving me here? No dice.
And this is about the time where I got a little bit impatient, so I started skipping what he had to say because I just wanted to make him stay where he is and end this bullshit little pantomime that he's putting on.
You wouldn't. No, yeah, you would. I would, if I thought you screaming wouldn't attract more of the locals. All right, I'll stay here for now.
Finally.
Don't leave me high and dry.
There we go. We've lost him as a companion and lost his perk, but that's not a problem. So we get 1,000 experience, and now Father Elijah's telling us to get to Sierra Madre. And now that we don't have Dean with us, this miasma is going to be slightly more deadly, purely because it's going to start poisoning you a lot quicker than it would have done then before. But it's not the biggest of clouds, so if you rush through it you'll have no trouble whatsoever. And then just keep using your Pip-Boy, checking your map, and then following your waypoint. And it's as simple as that, really. The only distance being, this one is much more ground you have to travel to get where you need to go. But once again, as this DLC's proven time and time again, the enemies don't respawn at the longest of intervals, so you're going to have pretty empty streets and not much to worry about as you try and traverse them. Which I think works both in its favour and against it, because all the people that don't enjoy constantly respawning enemies where you have to push a line to stop them from doing it, people get annoyed at that, so it's one of those areas that can be a frustration, but at the same time when there is no enemies it can get quite tedious and monotonous at times when you're just travelling back through areas that you've already been through and there's nothing to keep you entertained. I think a good design ethic is knowing when to toe the line, knowing the difference between having too many enemies and not having enough enemies. And then I suppose it all depends on the mood you're trying to evoke, because if you're wanting something tense and you're wanting to build an atmosphere, then obviously the less enemies the better, but when the enemies show up it has to have a big impact on the player. And then vice versa, if you're wanting a big action set pieces, you need a ton of enemies on screen just to give you that frenetic pace. but it's all in the motions of creating the mood you want to make. But now we're back at the fountain, we have to proceed along here. Just keep following your waypoint, and you'll eventually get to the next section, which will be your part in the Gala event, where you trigger the little show that's about to unveil. And as you can see, if you're ever unsure of what direction to take, just bring your Pip-Boy up. It will show you the arrow on the doorway you're supposed to take until it gets you into the area where the objective is. Anybody that's played these games before knows exactly how to roll. It's not the most difficult thing. It's just the pleasure of the traversal. And there we go, our first encounter on our way through. And straight away it's with a harvester, so circle him if you can and just slap him with your spear. Nice and simple. Look at him, he don't have a clue where he is. Just smacking his tits off. Good night. And now we're back to the crapper enemies because we're only getting 65 experience, so for whatever reason he's not as good as the other dudes we were killing. But there's one more of them, and he's probably up in that room. But oh, there we go. Collar is it? Collar and a bear trap, so now you know it's going to be this bullshit. Oh, this is close. This is bad. Ooh, that was bad. But if you do that, you'll completely skip that section, and all you have to do is fight this ghost trapper. But just be careful, because this guy is kind of like Clubber Lang. He will knock your face off if you let him. And that's the reason why I choose to use VATS against these dudes, because they're a little tougher and they hit a little harder than the smaller ones. And if you want to be completely unfair, you can just do an Indiana Jones and you can shoot the bitch. And that'll work just as well, but just remember to dismember them if you don't knock a limb off. There you go. Job's done. And I keep picking up the bear trap fists, and if you repair those gauntlets, they are very powerful. They're one of the better weapons on this DLC, but I'm just not that kind of guy when I play these games, so it just doesn't appeal to me to have your big fist on the screen and everything. But here we go, we need to keep following. It's an area that we've been through before, so it's one of those where if you can remember where you went the last time, it's going to be a pretty similar thing. You're just going to take a different route. And be careful here, because that gate to the left is completely covered in the miasma, in the fog, in the cloud residue or whatever it is, and you will take damage when you're in it. And right there is a bear trap. I don't know if you saw that, be careful of it. And then there's another bear trap, which is going to cripple you, and then these guys come and try and finish you off. But if you're adequately leveled, you shouldn't have any problems with these guys. Just be careful not to get crowded, and be careful not to let the bear traps get in your way. And from the 195 experience we got from killing that dude, it tells us that these are either upgraded versions of the older ones or the slightly higher levels. But not to fear, they're the exact same behavioural patterns as they was before, and it's pretty simple really. And we're treated to nice little bits of Vangelis-esque soundtracks. And another bear trap, so always look at your feet to make sure you're not going to be stepping on anything, because they can do a lot of damage, the bear traps. And it's another one of Dean's stashes in there behind the counter, but there's also a speaker there, the speaker. And finally, I turn off my very first speaker, my very first radio, sorry, that's affecting my collar, and hopefully from now on I'll have realised that that is the source of the trouble. And right now I'm not too sure where the stash is, but there we go, it's on the top shelf. Little confusing because the hand is low, but if you search it, you generally find them. And as you can see, there's 15 of the stashes. I said 18 to 20 last time, so that's my mistake. But this is the end of this video, so thanks for watching and keep with this guide. You take care now.